Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the very first one we are offering in 2023. Happy New Year to you all. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy days to join us for this look at 5 social media strategies for economic development marketing. So let's talk about social media strategies for place marketing. What I'd like to do in the next 25 minutes or so that we've got before we take questions is really try and focus as much as possible on practical things that we can do to really make a difference. I know that many economic development professionals wear a lot of hats. Some of you may not be marketers by training. Some of you may be wholly devoted to marketing and comms for your organization, and we're really going to look at very specific tactics that you can use with lots of examples. So let's take a look at our overview here. What we talked about over the past number of years with the pandemic was communication and unfolding crisis. I like to think we're all post-pandemic right now, but there are a lot of lessons, of course, that we could take from that helped us kind of understand or sharpen our focus or have to switch midstream, so that that nimbleness and flexibility still remains very, very important. There may be different kinds of disasters, such as the ones we're seeing on the West Coast with the rains and the flooding, and of course, most of us in the locations we're in are no strangers to things that suddenly come up that we did not expect. So that is one of the strengths of social media, is it gives us this instant opportunity to communicate, connect, engage with our followers, especially as new information becomes important to share. Now, often in economic development, we call this B2B, but of course, there's a kind of government element for many of us. You may be working for an organization that's part of your state, regional, province, municipal. And so we actually, there are some additional things to think about when it's government to business or business to government communication. So I'll have a couple of pointers about that specifically. We'll talk about the tactics that we can do specifically when it comes to connecting investors in your communities or your regions. We'll focus, of course, on the 5 social media strategies with lots of practical takeaways. So effective communication, obviously, for economic development organizations is critical. This is partly because for most of you, your main mandate is to promote your community for investment. So you want to do everything you can to broaden your reach those potential investors, businesses looking to make location decisions. You want to be able to communicate your value proposition. What is the story of your location? How do you tell that? So going beyond just the basics of live, work, play, the stories are often about the people in your region and people behind the companies, the people that are part of workforce development, the people you wish to attract as workers, the people who are part of that story. For many of you, profiling area development and properties, commercial properties that are available could be important. Workforce talent attraction, always a big deal, but even more important, of course, in a world where people can live in one place and work in another remotely or sometimes hybrid. We'll talk about the renewed focus on virtual site visits and virtual tours of your region, resources for local business, resources and training, and other kinds of things that you might want to do to drive people to your area businesses. Now, one of the reasons this is so critical is that our research shows that often when it comes to site selection, they are doing their own research and analysis before they're actually ever reaching out to you. And that means that they may be visiting your website or interested in visiting your website before you know they're there, before they email, call, fill out an online form, they're going to that website. And so social media posts and presence profiles that allow you to drive people to your website, to fill in that color, to engage them and direct them, especially in a crowded global marketplace where you're not just competing with a county on the other side of the line or someone in the same state or even the same region, but someone potentially across the world or in another country. You really want to make sure that you get that information, that compelling information out there about what your region has to offer. And so that is where social media gives you that opportunity to do that. So when it comes to making the most of government to business marketing or B2B marketing, if you're actually not a government organization, is to recognize that you have, by definition, a authority. and credibility. And so the voice that you use in your posting should make the most of that authoritative, credible voice. So it doesn't mean that you can't, of course, use humor. It doesn't mean that you can't do things that are different, and we encourage you to be innovative as much as possible. But that is the default position from which you begin. And so that is obviously a responsibility that needs to be taken seriously. And it's one of the reasons that I don't always recommend to our economic development clients that they turn their social media content immediately over to an intern or to a summer student. It has to be someone who recognizes the responsibility and the authority that they carry with any of the postings. Now, one of the things that you can do, of course, with government to business marketing or B2B marketing is you want to personalize it. Most people don't understand that there are people behind these organizations. So I always put an emphasis on putting faces on places, not just communicating as an organization, but as the people behind the organization, the director, the staff, could be even the person at reception, the person who goes out to events, who connects with businesses, who offers training and workshops. We want to see who those people are, and then we want to go out into the community and put faces on the places in your region. Who are the people running those businesses? Who are the entrepreneurs? Who are the realtors? Who are the workers? Who are the people at the small business development centers or the business incubators and the research universities or other kinds of services? That is one of the challenges and opportunities that you have when you're in control of the social media for your organization. For the most part, our mandate is going to be to inform, to educate, and also to engage. And that engagement piece is one of the things where social media really is an opportunity to get new eyes and new people aware of your organization. We all know that most people out there do not know exactly what economic development is in the first place. Your social media posts, those accounts, are opportunities to explain to them, to show them in practice what it is that you do on a regular basis, the important work you do to support and grow your area economy and your community. For the most part, your post should have descriptive text that is in easy to understand non-jargon language. You want to profile key data, did you know data, anything that you can offer to them. And images is really critical. So maps, heat maps, images of people, pictures from events, video, anything that's interactive is going to be very, very engaging and help make that difference. And taking this information out to people in the social media channels that they're already on reduces the burdens for them of having to come back to your website. Now, we're going to talk about how important it is to drive them back to your website. I am not putting that aside. I recognize that is key. But by taking it out there, we're making sure that we're creating brand awareness, brand identity, and helping them understand the work you do and what opportunities there are should they be interested in relocating to your area, growing a business, or accessing some of the resources that you provide. And of course, as an economic development professional, for most of you, the job is about being that B2B matchmaker, making that match between the investor, the entrepreneur, the business, or the potential talent in your area. So that is not always the way we think about the work that we do, but it is kind of helps make it fun and help you understand the ways in which you can get creative with your posts. Now, there are certain things that are absolutely critical to be successful in this position. You absolutely must know the channels available to you. You must know the tools you have at your disposal. And that is, of course, staying on top of these things as they change and merge, but also knowing literally what tools you have within your organization. What are your resources? Do you have someone who can create graphics for you? Do you have someone that can create video for you? If you don't, how can you be as creative as possible on your own? And then to go out and build engagement. And that means not just seeing social media as, kind of old style media like television or radio where you're broadcasting to other people, but it's a chance to engage with them. So people will like and comment and reshare your posts. And when they do that, you want to be responsive to them. You want to thank them. You want to respond to their comments, answer their questions. That is what distinguishes this from older style media. And then you want to focus on your specific objectives. Presumably, you have a marketing plan for 2023. You want to know what your number one objectives, number two, number three, whatever they are. Once you've got those objectives, then you want to go and put together the strategies and then the tactics. And that's the tactical part is where social media is really going to be helpful to you. And then we'll take a look at using hashtags strategically. Now, if you don't know what hashtags are, those are the words or the terms that come after the pound symbol. That you'll see. And those not only are kind of ways to get creative, but they help you track things in your posts. So I encourage you, if you are not already doing so, to create hashtags that you will use over and over in the different kinds of posts you have, whether they're workforce, whether they're success stories, whether they're available properties, data, did you know data, and make them unique to your community, to your organization. That way you can use them as a search term, and that is where the real power of hashtags comes up. Those search terms let you track all the stories that you've told or posts you've told about a specific category of things, and it's a way that other people might be able to find you as well. So let's start by looking at the channels specifically. So, there's obviously many kinds of social media channels out there. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that when it comes to economic development, most of us are focused on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and perhaps Instagram, and also things like YouTube or podcasting software. I'm just going to focus on a few of them here because I think it is really useful to note the ones that make the most sense. So first and foremost, LinkedIn, I think absolutely critical. I always talk about, fishing where the fish are, and this opportunity to know that this is where your investors are, this is where businesses are, people are not posting pictures of their lunch. And this is a great example from Detroit Regional Partnership. What they did was they captured some screen video of the 360 virtual tour that we offer on Zoom Prospector for every single property, and they turned it into a GIF. And as you are scrolling through LinkedIn, this is very eye-catching. It gets people's attention, it stops them in their tracks, and it's a great opportunity to show the surrounding infrastructure, surrounding properties, things that are around there, and this is a property that they're linking to. So it is a way to catch attention and to do that. The South Carolina Power Team also showing featured properties. You can see the link prominently displayed up there on the top. I'm going to keep coming back to that, giving some information here, some thumbnail images, and then the ability to go directly to those, something else that was also available on LinkedIn. Another example here from Business Oregon from a little while ago. There's no image here. I do think that images are really useful, but in this case, it did not pull up an image. On LinkedIn, if it does not pull up an image, you can now hover over the preview and there will be a camera icon, and you can then either upload a picture or select a picture from the website that it will offer you. So that is a way to add those in there. But again, another kind of property of featured property, industrial property in this case, you can see the hashtags that they're using over here that makes it possible to share those. Another example here from Central Pennsylvania. I like this because of the different hashtags that are being used within the body of the text itself. And you can see how they're showcasing the ability now to draw a 3D rendering on properties. So it's really about picturing your investments on the site, and that is a creative way to kind of bring that to people. This one is from Jana Watkins Dyke, and she's actually a great example of not just posting from the organizational pages, but getting your directors, your economic development professionals, your employees to post as well on their LinkedIn feeds. It's great if you can tag other people within there, use images, and then create that information over here. And again, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that there is a link down below, which is so important. So here's an example from YouTube. Now, YouTube is a Google product, and the thing that Google loves most in the world is Google. And so if you're using a YouTube channel, you are going to guarantee that you will always get placement in search results. Edmonton Global up in Canada does a really nice job of promoting different kinds of videos that they've got. They've got one pinned at the very top that is an overview, so you have the ability to do that. Video can feel a little bit off-putting. There are some fantastic video production organizations out there that you can use if you want to have someone produce very professional video for you. Golden Shovel's one, Neon Cloud Production comes to mind. There are a number of them. But you can also be producing some of this video on your own, just using your iPhone and the simple free programs that come with your computer. It's not going to compete with what those professionals are doing, but it's an excuse to, it means there's no excuse rather to not get video out there at all. Now, this is an example from Albuquerque Regional Economic Alliance, also known as AREA, one of their videos. And the reason I included this here is because it's important to note that if you are featuring video, which I highly encourage you to do, that Google cannot index the content of the video itself. It is going to rely on what you put in the text descriptions. So you want some juicy keywords in there, and you want to have links as much as possible. So this is a really good example of how they're putting those links in there, and they're helping people find and get back to their website. Always remember that key to get back to the website. So you can see where those links are over there. So when we talked about search results, that's really important. This is not technically social media, but I always like to throw this in there. One of the first things that's going to come up in search is for any organization is going to be Wikipedia. Wikipedia, by nature, as a wiki, can be edited by anyone. Try and Google the name of your community or your region, and probably there is nothing about economic development there. And I love this because the folks at Pflugerville have gone in and they have edited and added a entry for economic development. Now, Wiki has conflict of interest policies. If it is blatantly self-promotional, it will get flagged and will not stay published. But if you put in objective basic fact with links, with bullet points, target industry sectors, things like that, that is going demographic information, links to your data tools, that will be included. And that's a great way to ensure that you are included in Wikipedia, which is always going to be one of the first things that comes up. Another example from up in Canada, in this case, Spruce Grove Economic Development, where they are using an opportunity to promote these things. We've got Facebook over here. Now, Facebook is really interesting, not just because it gives you an opportunity to promote featured properties, which I suggest you do everywhere, but we know on Facebook, that's where your local businesses are going to be. And the shoe stores and beauty salons and cupcake bakeries are not necessarily on LinkedIn. But if part of your mandate is business support, and this is a great way to fill in local color, even for potential investors who may be searching you there, call out those local businesses. This is a fantastic forum for that business support and for, spreading some of the love, amplifying posts that businesses are posting. And in this case, as you can see, Spruce Grove is actually naming and tagging the businesses themselves. So they're getting some a bit of limelight here by the Economic Development Organization. Another example here from Fulton, Select Fulton in Georgia. Fulton County is showing off information about a workforce development board retreat. You see that they are actually naming people and companies in there, using hashtags, showing pictures, putting faces on places. But workforce is something else that is just like a great place to, a great topic to include when it comes to Facebook. That is something that you'll be able to get people's attention. Another great example here from Greater Rochester in New York. This is a way to promote a podcast that, in this case, one of the folks from the team is doing. I think this is the director. Matt is the director of GRAs. And so leveraging content across platforms is another really important thing to do. Once you're producing something, it should be on all of your channels, every video, every podcast. All of these things can be spread and included in different places. So I just thought that was excellent. Again, notice the call out to the local media, but also the link to their website again. So great job there, Rochester. Now, Instagram, we're seeing more and more economic development organizations using Instagram. Definitely, we've got a young, skewing a bit younger in terms of the following, but I think it's absolutely worth doing. We've got hashtags here as well. And I really love here that they're calling out local companies and people. You can see the tags over here with the commercial @ sign. And that's great because those folks are obviously on Instagram. If you can create that and it goes into that link, you know that they're there. Spreading the limelight, drawing attention. Part of our job, of course, is to profile the companies and industry sectors that help make our region so powerful. Another great one here from the South Carolina Department of Commerce. They're profiling information about investments, incredible investments in the EV sector here, but also new jobs created. So this is important for brand awareness as well, and helping people understand what economic development is all about in the first place. I love this example from Greater Yuma Economic Development in Arizona on Instagram, partly because they have so much great information in here. They're encouraging people to follow them. You see that people are responding over here and tagging others. But you also see this creative use of hashtags over here. And it's really about telling the story of what it is that this EDO actually does. A really nice job from Greater Yuma Economic Development. Another Instagram one here from FC Power Team. Did you know post? So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, did you knows are really useful, a great way to drive people back to those websites. And you can see that the link is down here as well. Now on Instagram, obviously people are gonna have to click on the link in the bio to get there. That requires an extra link. Anytime you expect people to do an extra click or something, you're going to have some drop off in traffic, but that is the way Instagram works, and the folks who are on there are going to know that. Now you'll notice that I don't have any posts up there from Twitter. Now I'm not trying to be political or anything here. I do think Twitter can be a really useful way to direct some traffic to your website. I've never heard from any of our clients in the many years that I've been doing that of a specific lead that came from Twitter. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It's just not generally what I'm hearing from our clients being particularly useful to them. But it is a useful way to get for blog content, podcasts, video, definitely something, training workshops, things like that, you could put them on there. I'm just seeing more returns from posts specifically on LinkedIn. And this is what I was saying before, you know, we know that if you really don't have a lot of time, a lot of resources, you don't have a comms team, you know, you could dedicate just 15 minutes of your day, set up your profile. It can take a while to organically grow it, and then just set aside 15 minutes twice a day, maybe when you first come in, set a timer because you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. When it dings, you stop, and then maybe once again at the end of the day to make sure you're responding to engagement, and you can grow that over time. Now, the tools that you have at your disposal on your website are a fantastic source of content, because one of the pain points with social media, of course, is how do I come up with content to be able to fill all that in? So interactive data tools, as you can see here, you know, how much did people in Marshall, Texas spend on women's clothing? This heat map shows you at a glance, and you can go over to share and grab the link or share directly from any of the reports, and it will produce that. Another thing that we offer, of course, is our do-it-yourself cloud-based virtual tour builder. We're going to be having a webinar tomorrow where we're launching the newly redesigned version of it, so you get a glimpse of it here. And these tours, once you have the license, you can build as many tours as you want to profile different aspects of the value proposition for your area and take people on tours. Now, as a government organization, I know sometimes people are concerned about comment moderation. Within the settings, you can set it to either approve comments or you can delete comments if you feel there's, you know, someone's saying things that are inappropriate. So you do need to be moderating. And if someone is a loose cannon and just keeps coming back and saying things or stirring up problems, you can also block them from your page. So you do have that built in there. And if you go into the settings for your various channels, you'll see that there are things that you can do to be able to do that. So builds engagement. So why are we online? As we said before, part of this is search engine optimization, informing, engaging, and also collecting actionable intelligence. But that driving people back to your website is so key. And you really want to have those links on all of your posts that are going to be able to get them back over here. As an example of a Zoom tour from the city of Lancaster in Pennsylvania. So you don't need every social media tool, as I said before. Focus on one or two to start if you are really starting from the beginning, and populate them with quality content. And the question I often get is, how much is the right amount of content? Now, it's going to change with the algorithm of each channel. Generally, I would say with LinkedIn, for example, that you want to make sure you're posting at least a couple times a week, if not more than that. And that's because the algorithm and the news feeds are not a simple reflection of who posted what in what order. It doesn't just have this innocent review of who's posting what in what order, first, second, third. It is actually taking advantage of those who are more frequent posters, those who are more frequently engaged. So the more often you post, the more likely your posts are to be seen by other people. And this is something that a lot of people don't necessarily recognize. So I usually recommend structuring certain social media campaigns. At the beginning of the month, you can schedule your posts. You can use HubSpot or Hootsuite or other kinds of social decks. Think about what information you want to communicate, what holidays are coming up, what events are coming up, what you need people to know, and then think about populating social content around that and focus on using links with all of your points. So those links are easy to find on your data tools. I always say that our share link, if you're using Zoom Prospector, for example, is the superpower. You can do any kind of analysis you want, then click on share and grab that link. And that will bring people back to the specific analysis with those map layers and that heat map or whatever you want, so that people are able to come back and continue doing the research they want to see. Now, if you've got an e-newsletter, this is an opportunity to amplify your social channels. You want to make sure that people know about what you're doing. You want to put links in those e-newsletters. You want to use your social channels to get people to sign up for the e-newsletter, so you can put a link there. But in this newsletter itself, you can put links back to your website and to your social media channels, so people can actually connect there. So there's all sorts of examples of ways that people have done that. Get them back to your website. That is always going to be key. And once they're there, you can encourage them to sign up. An example here from the California Office of the Governor, Department of Commerce, so that they have their new community and place-based data tool. So focusing on specific objectives, these are things that we know are going to be important over time, that will change to some extent. You just want to be able to take advantage of what your objectives are in any given campaign and overall for your marketing campaign. And then you will never run out of content if you're using interactive data. So there's all sorts of things that you can go in and grab. Did you know posts are fabulous because it gets people back to the website and broadens your reach to all the different kinds of community stakeholders who might not know that economic development is something that's important to them as well. So lots of examples, drive time analyses, or you can drop a pin. It could be around an available property. It could be around an address or an intersection. These are things that you can share as well. Business mapping is very powerful. So if you want to, as we did here, map all of the healthcare and social services within a specific region, as you can see on the SC Power Team site, every one of those dots represents a business. And you could go in and focus very specifically by NAICS code or by category on a specific kind of business, and then map them across your area. Go into the share button over here, grab that link, and that's a fantastic Did You Know post. Another example, food purchased from restaurants is a great way that you can get conversations going. People don't necessarily know that they have access to that data. And then using beautiful images and infographics to be able to share that is very, very helpful. We added those 3D renderings, do-it-yourself 3D renderings. Anyone can come to the website and create the 3D rendering. You can adjust them using these beautiful, intuitive legends over here, and then share them if you want to do that. And that helps people see what a site might look like. The new side-to-side property comparison is something else you can share. Pick the different properties you'd like to compare, and then click on the share link and grab the link, and you could put that out there. You can also compare communities. You can compare any region in any community in your region with as many others across the country as you like, and that's something that can be easily shared as well. Hashtags we talked about before. Choose the right hashtag to ensure your post gets seen. Not sure what hashtag to use, you can go to hashtagify.me to generate research and analyze key hashtags. So you could see in this case, econdev as a hashtag is connected and gets used to all of these other ones like manufacturing and FDI and jobs, not too surprisingly. An example here from Pflugerville, I like this one because they always use Connect PF. That is one of the ways they can track different kinds of messages that they put out there and that people can look for them and connect with them. So an interesting way to do that. Another example here from Abbotsford Economic Development. Here we go. Here's an example from Twitter. This is British Columbia up in Canada, promoting a video on Twitter and being able to use the hashtag BizFriendlyAbbey, which lets them track the stories and the posts they put out there. Now, just to close us out here, I know we're at time, but if you bear with me for a moment or two, and I'd be happy to stay and take some questions, setting up a Google alert is a basic. This is free. You can set up as many as you want. I certainly suggest you set it up for your organization, but also for your director or anyone else in your organization. All you need to do is put in an email address and put the term or name in quotation marks. That's really important because otherwise it's going to grab those terms separately. But this way it will search for every term and email you with links to that term across the internet. So it's a way to stay on top of your digital footprint. So just to recap here, some of the things that we talked about: knowing your tools, using your time wisely, building engagement, sourcing strong content and where to find that, using hashtags strategically, and using Google Alerts to track the things that are out there. Now, I am going to just take a look and see if we've got any questions over here. I, of course, welcome you to put them in the questions field, and I'll stick around for a little while. Okay, I've got a great message here from Stone. I'm happy to chat with you. I will reach out to you as well. Thank you for that. I'm getting really nice feedback. Thank you for that, everyone. Okay, another interesting question here. Our business has a lower organic following. When posting all of these, did you know, or content-specific posts, not necessarily event-based, is it okay when we receive lower reach and engagement? Absolutely, it's okay. The important thing, so there's two things that are important. Of course, the numbers of likes and shares and follows and comments are things that we always look for, but you're building brand identity, you're building an awareness of your organization, you are establishing a footprint online. These are all things that every post helps you do. And furthermore, simply by posting, you are helping to game the algorithm, as you were, to ensure that the channel, let's say LinkedIn, recognizes that you are an active poster and is more likely to ensure that future posts will be seen by other folks. So especially when you're starting out, I wouldn't worry too much about what those numbers look like. Encourage, of course, your employees and your friends to like and share. That is a great way to get things started. And your employees, if they feel comfortable doing so, of course, their own profiles belong to them, is another way to help promote the organization. If you have clients or businesses or folks in the area that you can be following and helping to respond or comment on their posts as your organization is another way to broaden that reach. So I would absolutely say don't worry too much about the numbers, just start getting that information out there and you'll see organically that the numbers start to climb. Let's see another example. How can EDOs determine quantity and quality of leads coming in via specific social media channels? This is a really good question. So if you are using GIS planning tools, we've built in something called Lead Feeder in the back end of your tools on your website that lets you see what companies are accessing your website and are accessing your GIS planning tools like Zoom Prospector, and we will show you if they've come in from LinkedIn, like what are the referral sites you'll see. You can also see on Google Analytics what the social referrals are like. So sometimes I'll have a client come to me and say, I would like some help working on the building traffic, and so I'll go into the Google Analytics with them and I'll see that they have no referrals, specifically no social media referrals. Well, that is just a lost opportunity because that is a great way way to build that traffic. And if you're not taking advantage of it, then you are losing leads that you could be seeing. Google Analytics will show you as a group aggregate what that looks like. Something like Leadfeeder built into Zoom Prospector or intelligence components will show you the names of the company that found you from LinkedIn, not the people at the company. It doesn't show the names of any of the individual users, just the company commercial IP address. I know that I have taken you all past our 2 o'clock stop time if you're on the East Coast. I remain open and willing to take any questions. You see that my email address is up there on the screen. I'm happy if you want to reach out to me and you have any additional questions that I did not answer, happy to do that. I will be sharing the video recording of today's session. I will also be sharing the link to my slide deck so you can review that at your convenience. You will have my contact information on there as well, and I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. It's a great place, always great. So please reach out to us. Thank you again for your time. I wish you all the best in 2023, and I look forward to continuing the conversation. Have a great day. Bye-bye.